What up, peeps, and welcome to a Finance Guy podcast, a show for all genders and species about bringing some humanity and a bit of fun to the world of finance and tech and leaving you with a little something that can help you on your way. All right, please enjoy. Thanks. All right, welcome to another episode of the Finance Guys and Tech podcast and Finance Guys TV. Today we have a very special guest. It's Bunmi Omotowa, and just fix that name. I just butchered that last part.
Bunmi Omotowa.
Omotowa, I didn't butcher.
Omotowa.
It's Bunmi, not Bunmi.
Not Bunmi.
But she'll never correct you if you get it wrong. So it's Bunmi, everybody, like a cannon. That's what I would say.
She works in finance, you know. She doesn't correct stuff.
Bunmi, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Got the team back together.
Yes.
I'll read a quick bio, give people a little background on you. Me and Sid know a ton about you, but our people don't. So here we go. Bunmi, where are you from? You're going to help me Mad Libs this too, because I can't pronounce some stuff.
I'm from Nigeria.
From Nigeria and from the town of, city
I'm
of?
from Lagos State.
Okay.
Lagos, Nigeria.
Okay. And then Bunmi graduated from?
Obafemi Awolowo University.
Slow down, Bunmi.
That I was not even an attempt, and that's in Ife, Nigeria.
Yes.
I just learned that 5 minutes ago. I'm not going to pretend I had that. And a degree in quantity surveying, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there a degree called as quantity surveying?
Yes.
Is it civil engineering?
It's like cost estimating. They call them cost estimators in the US.
That's why
So
you
it's
were.
like, yeah, it's.
That's why you were in infra, you know.
That's why I wasn't in.
That's why she knew everything. So after getting her degree, she worked for 3 years as a senior associate at KPMG. Then went back, got your MBA in finance in Idaho State, right? And that's when you
Yes.
guys moved to the States?
Yes.
That was
That's
it?
when I moved to the States.
Oh, you moved to the States?
Yeah.
Okay, you finished that in 2012. You held some roles in finance at Brooks Software, at Idaho State University, and Beazer Homes was the place you went afterwards, right?
Yes.
And your husband is literally like a nuclear physicist.
A nuclear engineer.
He's a nuclear engineer. I thought he was a rocket scientist.
It's very
She's a
close.
rocket scientist, actually.
Like when you say it doesn't need a rocket scientist, they mean it doesn't need your Bunmi's husband, right? And that's Olu, right?
Yes.
And you guys have
Olu.
a son, Olu, as
Yes.
well.
Teolu.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Teolu?
Teolu.
Teolu, okay.
Yes.
And he is the future president of the United States. We all know that.
We have to kind of split him between the US and Nigeria. We'll figure that out
He's
sometime
going
in
to
the
just
future.
save us all.
I guess so.
That we know. And he's what, 5, 6 years old?
6.
Very cool. And you came to Amazon in 2016? 16? And that was where our paths crossed?
Yes.
You joined AWS Infra?
Yes. So
Right.
Charlie is kind of like a big part of my Amazon story.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. You did my first interview. Like my very first phone screen was with Charlie Conte.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then
Yep.
it was my lunch buddy when I came for the on-site.
Yep, we went to Brave Horse
We
Tavern.
went to Brave Us together, and then you're also my trainer when I eventually joined the team.
It's a beautiful thing.
Your name is all over my Amazon history right now.
Oh, it was my pleasure. It made me look good. People are like, oh, this new Bunmi person, she's doing everything so well, and that was all you. And that was 3 years ago. And Sid, you came on the team in 2017.
Yeah,
So this is a reunion right here.
And this was like, and the same thing happened with me. Like, although he didn't interview me, but the entire training was done by Charlie. So Charlie is by far the best trainer you could ever have.
That's it.
I agree.
And
I told your mom that actually.
Okay. Yep. Perfect. I owe you $20 for that still. I'll settle up with you, Sid, after this.
Yeah, you cannot settle that, But anyways, so it was an awesome team. We three, it was like, you give us anything and we'll solve it, Like this is the best team I ever had,
It was like the Bulls, like you guys, like Michael Jordan's team.
Yeah.
Jordan, Pippen, Rodman. I want to be Rodman.
I was like Pippen,
No, I think Bunmi was Pippen because she's like the strong, silent type. You're Jordan because you're.
Come on, man.
You're flashy. You're the flashy kind of. You're the one. You're out there. Yeah, exactly.
Only that the air is not there anymore.
The hair is not there anymore.
That's what it was.
I think this interview done very good,
But and so we had a pretty decent time. That was fun.
I think we had a really good time.
Yeah.
Like we had each other's back.
And for the right reason.
We also supported each other in a good way, even outside of work. Like, it was a little community.
It was very good.
That we
It
had.
was very good.
Yeah.
In fact, I've always felt that there should be a healthy we can challenge back also, and we as a team were challenging each other also, you know. But I think it gets the best out of you, you know.
I think it borders on trust. Like we trusted each other, basic. Like, and we trusted each other enough to be able to have each other review our work and take on any criticism or review comments just the way it was and fix it, because we knew that the other person was saying the right thing. It was just like,
it wasn't political either.
No.
Like the
no politics.
The feedback was like about the work and not like about
and
posturing.
For like the greater good, like let's just do this right, you know. And
and then you left us.
And I left. I know.
You had a good opportunity. You went over to the service finance team.
Actually, she wanted to be very frank. Like she wanted me to grow, you know.
Yeah, she needed you to step out of the Bunmi shadow, which was large and long and.
But I think as a I'm just putting the seed, you know, like at some point of time, this three amigos will join back, you know.
I think it's inevitable.
Yeah,
I think so.
Let's see.
Talk to us about the role in service finance. That's been like a year.
So it's not service finance. It's iPad finance.
Okay.
Formerly CFP, Central Finance.
Okay. Don't tell us anything that you can. This is external, so don't tell us anything you can't. I know you work on you work with the mucky mucks up in the C-suite.
Yeah.
So, but tell us about your experience.
So iPad Finance is insight, planning, analytics, and technology finance within AWS, and my team is responsible for more of the insights and analytics part of that. So we focus on AWS revenue and figure out what's going on with AWS revenue. We provide like daily and weekly reports to the very senior level leaders of AWS, and just give them insights on what's going on in the business, like what's going on in AWS today, what went on last week, or what should I expect this week. Yeah,
and what like kind of skills like do you like leverage to do a good job? You know, you're advising senior leadership. It sounds very, you know, it sounds very important, but there's like you have to have talent to be able to do that well. Like, what is it that you think you do well?
I don't know if I would say there's any special talent.
That's because you're very humble. That's because you're too humble. But yeah,
I don't know about that.
But I think
like it would go back to leadership. Leadership principles. What do I need to be successful in this role? Dive deep would be a big one.
Be right a lot, you know.
Because you have to know the data to be able to report on it. You have to know when something looks off with the data. I have to be able to investigate. I write a lot is another good one, because when you're sending these numbers to like your top leaders, it better be right. Yeah, because you want decisions to be based on the numbers that you're sending. Yeah. And I feel like, for example, in our WBR meetings, if the discussion is about the number or the graph, and not about the service driving the trend or what we can do for our customers, then I've kind of failed, because they're focused on the wrong thing. They're distracted from having the business conversations because the number looks wonky, or we didn't have a call out to explain why the number looks wonky if it looks wonky, or the graph, someone else thinks something should be added and the scale is off. Like all of that, it takes away from what I want the conversation to be about, based on the data that are provided.
And people start disbelieving the entire data.
No, it's not even. I don't think we have a lack of trust in what we publish. It's just like people have questions, but again, I want those questions to be on the business drivers, on the customers driving our trends, on how we are serving our customers, or how we need to better serve our customers.
What's like the biggest thing you learned from the day you started that role? Like now you kind of have a rhythm, you know how to do it. What's the biggest thing that when you stepped into it that you had to kind of...
I think my biggest lesson has kind of been more towards myself. Like when I stepped into it, I didn't know that I could succeed. I was just going to go to it and see how I would do. But my biggest lesson is just like, you can do this, you have this, like, and I think that's when you know if a role is the right role for you. If you feel like you have it from day one, then you're not pushing yourself, you know. But if you go into a new role or into a new company, like anywhere your path takes you to, like even with life, if it feels like this is going to push you and stretch you, then you're probably on the right track, because you will grow in the process, and you find new things, like find out new things about yourself, and it pushes you to a point where you can now make the next decision that would grow you even further than you are, you know. So I think that was like my biggest thing. Like, I can actually do this.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like,
and like, what would you tell like a friend or someone who is who's having like thoughts like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for it? That's very common. People are, you know, they think they're not prepared.
I think the fact that you're thinking about it probably means you're just about ready.
You're probably on the right track.
Like you're on the right track. And there's no harm in trying. Like, just try it out, give it a shot. A few months, a few days, a year, see how it goes, see if you like it. I think one big mistake people make is thinking everything is a one-way door. So if I join Amazon, I'm stuck with Amazon for 10 years. If I move on to a new role or to a new team, I'm stuck in that place for a certain period. But almost everything, every decision that we make is a two-way door. If I pick a school for my son, I can have him try it out for a term, a year, and I can decide this is not right for us, this is not right for him, find a new school, you know. So you're not stuck, you're just saying, this is where my path is leading me right now. I would like go that path. If it absolutely isn't working out because of some reasons outside of my control, so it can't be like I haven't given my best to it, is the reason why it's not working out. Like, I've given my best to it, I'm like doing everything that I should be doing. If there's some external reasons why it's not working out, then I try the next door, you know, I try the next thing for myself. But there's always like, the worst you can get is a no if you try. But
I mean, if you don't ask or you don't try, you never know. And then that's where the growth part comes in as well. Like, if you don't ask, if you don't try, then you're just in one spot for a really, really long time. And frustration does set in, you know, when you're too long in a position. I feel like, is there like, now that you kind of have this insight about stepping into something scary, is there a role that I feel like now the next time you step into that, you'll recognize the fear is because it's probably correct.
Like, will you change a role now?
No. Not right now.
No, but what I'm saying is that, like, now that you understand the fear of it, you can kind of acknowledge it and you can step into that next.
So fear is not a bad thing. I think it's very hard to change teams. It was a lot tougher than I thought it would be. Like, even from changing things within AWS. Like, I wasn't even going outside of my group. I was within AWS Finance. But now I can recognize it as healthy fear.
Healthy fear.
Yes, like I can recognize it as, this is going to stretch me for the right reasons. I'm probably going to grow much more, you know, after I've been through this for 6 months. 6 months is like the cutoff mark in Amazon, right? It's like after I joined a new team. But the first 6 months are really grueling. Like, it was really, really grueling for me in this new team. Like, everything that could go wrong almost went wrong, you know, but you come out of it better.
So how do you rate this 6 months with the 6 months when you were in infra?
My first 6 months in infra. It was also very stressful.
Similar.
Guprit was a manager there. And it was really hectic for me. And I think when you join a company, you have to learn so many things at the same time. So it wasn't like the work in infra was that impossible to do. It was just I had to learn the culture. I had to learn the business, like what AWS is about, the industry, and then the actual work in a very short period of time, because it wasn't like I had 2 months of do nothing but train. It was like, okay, yes, you get these regions, and this is what is going on in these regions. You need to solve the problem.
You own it now.
Learn on the job, you know. So,
So it was also very stressful, but I think I underestimated it going into like a new team because I was still within AWS Finance. It was, I think the only thing I transferred to the new role was probably my infra region codenames, like IAD, PDX, and stuff. Everything else was totally new to me.
Like the actual knowledge didn't necessarily transfer.
No.
The skills probably.
The skills probably translated, but I needed even more. Like, I couldn't bank on just the things
what me
that
and Sid do every day, right? That's not enough.
Not like it's not. It was good for our role. But I needed some additional skill sets to be successful in this other role.
How did you get this? Like, what were you? I'm curious. What were you like, kind of growing up? How did you get this confidence to take on a role like that? You know, like what were you like as a kid?
I was the shy, quiet kid, like the one who would be in a class and nobody would even realize she was there.
Not speak up?
No, not speak up. Not like just do my work.
strong silent type. I told you that's
strong silent
coming
type.
from, yeah.
I would consider that I was also very smart. That's debatable. But I kind of always give my best to whatever I do. So that kind of like, if my lecturers knew me in college, it was because I had a test score that was good enough for them to say who was that person. You know. So that was kind of
you let your grades kind of speak.
I let my even in Amazon.
Actually, she's like that.
Yeah,
like
even in Amazon, I let my work speak for itself.
Yeah.
If I'm in a meeting and there's something important I have to convey, or if I have a different opinion, then I'm ready and willing to voice out my opinion and say what I think. You can agree or disagree, but it's out there. But I'm not the loud, talkative type of person. I'm still not. I'm much better than I was, thanks to my husband. But
has he brought you out of your shell a little bit?
A lot. He's very extrovertish.
Yeah.
He likes
cool
to be out and about. It's very interesting. Like it makes my life very interesting.
Yeah,
he's an amazing.
What's he up to right now? Where's he like working and?
So my husband works for TerraPower.
Yeah.
It's a nuclear engineering company in Bellevue.
Yeah.
Washington.
Funded by Bill Gates.
Funded, well.
They're working on some big stuff. So and so he's kind of been like you guys complement each other's personality wise.
We do
a
lot, and I think our son has a little bit of both of us, which is very interesting.
God, he's just a superhuman.
Like he has the best of both worlds, I think. Like he knows when to, like it's just somewhere in between. Like he's outgoing and then he's quiet and then he's like, well, works out well.
That's pretty sweet. I wanted to ask you too about just like your decision to come to Amazon. Like how did it come that you guys ended up to be in Seattle and all
Seattle.
that? Yeah.
So my husband got his job, which is what brought us to Seattle.
Okay.
So I moved out here and worked from home for Biza Homes for a while.
Biza Homes is a construction developer.
Yes. I was in the North Carolina office, Raleigh, North Carolina.
And they do residential development type of
new home buildings.
Yep.
And it was kind of good for me because I had like my first degree in quantity surveying, which is like cost estimating for construction and engineering projects.
Yeah.
But I also had the finance background to kind of marry that with.
What made you choose that in college? It seems a little random because then you did KPMG, you know.
Yes, and it was intentionally random. So I come from like a long line of accountants and lawyers. Like my dad is an accountant.
Rebelling.
Yes, his twin brother is an accountant. Like everyone around, my brother is an accountant. My sister is an accountant.
Okay.
So I did not want to do accounting, not because I didn't like it, but because I wanted to be different from everyone else.
Yeah.
So I picked quantity surveying, which is pretty close. You're working with numbers, but you get like the engineering benefits to that. But in like my final year of college, I did like an internship and I kind of figured out, I figured out this wasn't going to quite work out.
My DNA.
And then I started taking like accounting professional courses, classes and exams, and just went right into like
an accounting firm.
Public accounting when I graduated. So I ended up being where I was supposed to be.
And now you're in accounting and finance, sort of.
Yeah, I'm in finance. I'm not in accounting though.
But
it's just kind of the skill set has come full circle. It's still
it came full circle. But I wouldn't change that story for anything.
Yeah.
Like I think like having the engineering plus kind of plus accounting mindset and frame kind of broadens, like you're not solely thinking in the numbers, you're thinking what's behind the numbers as well.
And how many siblings did you have?
I have 3.
You have 3?
Yes, I have a brother, an older brother.
Older brother.
And 2 younger sisters.
And 2 younger sisters, okay. And were they similar to you in like interest in like quietness, or do you guys have a kind of...
My brother is pretty quiet as well.
Yeah.
My immediate younger sister, she's in Denver. She's just like a pure extrovert.
The youngest is always like the firecracker. That's my theory.
She's not the youngest.
Oh.
Well, she was the youngest for 6 years. I don't know if that's right.
The second youngest.
The second youngest, yeah. It kind of counts.
She's kind of the youngest.
Yeah, she's kind of the youngest.
The other one's like, hey, I'm the youngest, but
But the youngest is, I think she's most like me.
Oh, okay.
In a funny way. Like I don't know. Like she's quiet, but she talks. We have a lot in common. Like I can tell you what she would do in a certain situation. She can tell you what I would do because we'll do the exact same thing, type thing. So yeah, The one in between though is kind of she's the one that spices up all of our worlds. Like if we have to go out, she has to be there because it won't be interesting if she's not there.
Yeah, she sounds fun.
Yeah, she is fun.
and you guys go back, like, how often do you go back home?
It depends. So we went back this summer for a wedding, for my youngest sister's wedding. And it was just beautiful. I had not been back in about 3 years.
Okay, yeah, it's a
long
way.
So it was kind of like a big homecoming. My son was also going back for the first time.
Very cool.
Well, for the second time, but it was a baby the first time he went.
How was it for him, you know? I mean, I just want to compare because the same thing happened with Sindhuja also.
Yeah.
You know? Was he shocked?
I was shocked by how well he did, actually. Like, I was shocked by his openness to everything that was kind of different from what he's used to here. But also how well, like, he didn't want to leave. Like, the day we're coming back, he cried and asked when next we'll be in Nigeria, asked when next he'll see his cousins and all of that. And even now, after we got back, he was in some summer program. And they talked about, like, I think they brought out a map, and he saw Nigeria on the map, and then pointed everyone to Nigeria. And then when I picked him up in the evening, he told me, I cried during the summer program. Like, why? It was like, we talked about Nigeria, and I missed it so much. And I started to cry, you know. So I was really impressed by, like, how well he did, how well he kind of just, like, took it all in, and it was good. Like, we have power outages in Nigeria, but it was probably like the second time it happened, he's like, okay, it's going to come back soon. Let's all just be ready. Yeah. And he just kind of like
And he's like 6.
He's 6, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, is he like an old soul? Like just kind of wise for his years?
He is. He talks to me like he's like my brother or like my friend. I don't know. Like.
Well, that's probably because you know, had talked to him just, you know.
The same way, I know. But
yeah,
he's a very interesting person. He's like, yeah, my sunshine.
Yeah. What should we go to next? I don't know if we should ask a work question because I just like shooting the shit. What do you think is like?
I don't know, like this.
The format, you know,
it's not for her. You
forget
know,
the format. Yeah. But I guess we always ask some people.
That's why I'm just listening, you know, right now.
Yeah, we always kind of ask people like if they had advice for somebody who's trying to, I don't know, get a job or something, or like, what would you say someone who's like trying to figure out what they want to do? You went through like the rebellion of majoring in something kind of funky.
I think work should be fun, which means that it should be right for you. And this comes to like what degrees that you decide to go into. And it's a lot easier in the US than it is in other countries. Like back home in Nigeria, we had like 3 options. You could be an engineer, a doctor,
the same
an accountant. Like you had just a few. Not like there were no other courses, but all parents wanted their kids to be a doctor.
See, I didn't know that. And when I saw quantity surveying, I'm thinking like that out of like 50 degrees.
There are 50 degrees, but everybody rushes to, the big ones.
Few.
And parents encourage
the big ones.
The big ones too. You know, but in the US, it's a lot easier to know your passion and drive towards your passion. But that's what I would say. And don't settle like in anything. I had some periods in my life where I settled, and like I had enough support from like my family, my sisters, to say, "You're better than this. You need to do something else."
Like settling for a job or something.
Settling for a job. Settling even for a place, but generally just in life, like settling for a team in Amazon. If you join and you think there's something else that you could do that you could be better at, you know. But whatever it is that you know that would push you to be your best self, then just go for it. Even if the door is shut at you the first time, try again.
So what got you over the hump when you settled? Was it your family kind of calling me?
It was my family. My sisters didn't like leave me, and we do the same for each other. Like it's just like I know you, and I know what you can do. You can, much more than.
And what do you think about looking forward? Then is that just sort of like, do you have a 5-10 year direction, or do you kind of take project by project that aligns with your?
I think right now it's project by project. My first priority is my family, and it's really whatever aligns with that part of my life. So it's project by project. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy being in AWS and Amazon right now. And yes, I'll see where that takes me.
I like it. What do you guys do for fun? What does outside of work, look like? What is your...
Oh, let's see.
I know you guys love movies.
We love movies. We watch movies. We go to the cinemas when we can. Chili plays soccer every Saturday, so we do that as well.
Oh, cool.
And we were always very outgoing. So sometimes we just chill with friends, have friends over for dinner or go to a friend's house and just hang out.
Just enjoy life.
Just enjoy life as much as we can.
I dig that. I dig that. Sid, what else?
Man, I don't know. I'm in a mood of listening. I don't know.
That's fine.
You've gone into that philosophical mode, so I'm into that philosophical mode right now.
Yeah. I think one of the things that was interesting to me is that you were kind of saying you're not afraid to speak up in a meeting if you have a counterpoint that's not being made. And I think that stuck out to me too, as there's a couple reasons that sometimes people feel triggered to speak up in meetings. Sometimes they just want to be heard, and it's not necessarily changing the conversation. And I think one thing I really valued, I've been in meetings with you, and what you just said is that you're very deliberate. You don't need to talk. You're about the business problem, and if it needs a little course correction because you know something different, you kind of offer your 2 cents. Let me ask you this: I was gonna say where I was kind of going is what kind of leadership principles do you think might be missing? Or we always ask that are there any leadership principles that you disagree with, or any that you kind of use that aren't part of the documented Amazon 14?
So one that always comes to mind for me is something about employees. I think we do a good job with our customers. We do a good job with wanting to hire and develop the best. We do a good job with what needs to be done when you're in Amazon to deliver results, ownership, dive deep. All of that ends up feeding into deliver results. But there's nothing that speaks to how we treat or how Amazon treats employees, or what the tenant is for leaders to treat teams under them and all of that. If there was one leadership principle I would add, I don't know how the wording would look like, but it would be something tailored to that. And there are so many variations out there. Sometimes it's just about open and honest conversations. It's about making sure employees feel like their sweat equity in achieving our goals for the customer is valued and appreciated and all of that. But I think that's just one thing and I think because Amazon is known for some things because of the guiding principles that we have. If there's a part where there's no guiding principle, then we kind of fall short in that part. And a lot of the time when I ask people, I know some SDEs, I'm like, why aren't you applying to Amazon? And they're like, I hear it's very stressful. I hear it's, so there's a notion out there that is not...
It's not covered necessarily.
It's not covered in the principle. And because it's not covered, it's not intentionally being addressed. I can say in a meeting I'm having back when I'm disagreeing and committing right now. Because we all know what that means. It's a guiding principle in a company. But there's nothing to guide us in that respect, which is why.
And you have a few people on a team right now. Do you have people reporting to you?
Yes.
And is that sort of how do you approach leading people, managing a team, all that?
I think I try not to use paint two canvases with the same brush because people are very different. So what I've tried to do is know my team members individually as individuals and find the approach that works. One of the first meetings I had with each of my team members was, what are you passionate about? What makes you whole? What makes you happy? And then what's your plan for the next 1 or 2 years, and what can we do to get you to where you want to be? Because if I have that in mind as your manager, then I can make sure that the projects and deliverables that you have kind of guides you towards where you want to be professionally. And there's no divergence. We are working towards the same goal, and we're on our one-on-ones, we are checking in on that common goal, versus it's just been about work and about deliverables and about what next I can get from them. It's more of where are we with the plan we had for you, and what do we need to get you to where you need to be, essentially.
I have a very important question.
Yes.
Do you have any headcount recs open?
I do. Please apply.
Oh my gosh. The gates would be flooded if we actually had any listeners.
I do.
Oh, man.
But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
Sid's checking job recs right now for to try to find yours on a thing. Let's go to some of like kind of the rapid fire types of stuff. What is I like to know like how do people kind of consume new information? I know you guys like movies, but do you like read the news, do books, and like what is your way of learning new things?
My husband is a news junkie.
Oh, okay.
So he always has something in the background telling him what's going on in different parts of the world.
Yeah.
So we do listen to the news. I read books.
What's something you read recently that kind of stuck out to you? Fiction, nonfiction, doesn't matter.
So I'm currently reading Michelle Obama's Becoming, and I just finished Tiffany Haddish's The Last Black Unicorn, which I thought was so well written.
Oh, cool.
They're both biographies, but I think it just sometimes you kind of need to see the world through other lenses, you know, like I have my own background, I have the experiences that I've been through, but these are like two very strong women with uniquely different experiences by themselves, but very different from mine as well. And it was just like a way to see what they had been through and how far they've come to where they are like today, essentially.
Yeah. Do you ever read anything and you're like, I knew I was right about that. See, she does it, you know? Because I feel like that reading kind of affirms too sometimes.
And Charlie, you know, like to be very frank, like some of the main reasons why I came to US, you know, is, you know, after reading about all these people, you know, like things like Bill Gates, things like Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Like if you read about them, you really get motivated, you know, like it's basically like this is a channel they followed, you know, like if I follow that channel, maybe I'll lead to something good, you know, in life.
Yeah.
You know,
and sometimes it's not even following the same channel that they're following, but it's saying that if I'm able to do XYZ,
correct,
because this person came from so much less than I'm coming from sometimes, and still did so much more for him or herself. You know? If I'm able to push myself even a little bit harder, can I get...
Like, who am I to make an excuse after seeing this example?
Like Tiffany's story is such like, I cried, I laughed. She's very funny.
Wow, cool.
But it was just so interesting to see like what like her background, what she went through growing up. Her mother had an accident and ended up being like in a mental institution for a really long time. She was in a foster home. But through it all, she came out.
What is she known for? I honestly
she's a comedian.
Oh yeah.
Tiffany Haddish.
There's a Netflix show in which David Letterman interviews her. She is, oh my God, she's so amazing.
Cool.
You know? Not even funny. Like her story is like out of the world. You know, like
her story is out of the world.
And you know, like, and I think sometimes, like, I felt that there is a demeanor she has, which is like she tries to portray to the world that she's funny, but internally, you know, she. Like there are some sad parts to her life, you know. There is something she talks about gifting luggages to people who are homeless because
she was one time homeless.
She was one time homeless, and I think luggage is the only part which is personal to a homeless person. You know?
Wow. Huh.
So she gifts luggages, I suppose. You know?
But it's just like the perspective that she has because of her experiences. You know? But even getting a glimpse into that, like from reading her story, and like her story, just like Michelle's story as well, is so real. Yeah. Like it's not like they're trying to hide the ugly parts of their life or their history. You know, it's all out there, and then you decide what you want to do with it.
And that's what makes you relate. You know what? I think comedians are actually the smartest people, because comedians, at the core of it, to be successful, they have to know what makes humans tick.
Yes.
And they just drill down to like the core of like the human condition. And I think, to me, like, and that talent is applicable in any field. So I've always looked at even like the goofiest ones, Chris Farley. I really like respect their art so much. My brother, he did stand up in New York for a while, and he had a podcast. And I loved just watching these guys because you judge sort of like the stand-up comedians as like, oh, they don't want to get jobs, they don't want to do this. I thought what they were trying to do, like I would kind of observe and try to copy some of the skills they were acquiring, you know, but
it's really interesting.
So what about movies? What is in the like the top 5 or just a couple good ones? You don't have to pick your favorite ever, but what would you recommend? Are you guys action, drama, comedy?
I do like action. I saw Malificent 2 last weekend.
Oh yeah? I haven't seen it.
It's so good.
Is that a Pixar or?
It's a Disney movie.
Is it Disney like cartoon?
No, it's real. It's Angelina Jolie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
For all ages, I think. Sid is looking at me like.
Yeah, like I'm not a very big movie guy. You know, the only movies that inspire me are like if there is some, I don't know. I'm not a big.
You're a nonfiction guy.
Yeah.
You're more of nonfiction, documentaries.
Yeah. I am totally a fiction person.
Yeah. What do you like?
Kingsman. I don't know if you've seen Kingsman.
No, I have not.
It's kind of a British-American movie, but it has a really good story to it.
Yeah.
It's all action. Like
is it a heist
action.
movie? I love heist movies.
It's not a heist movie.
Okay.
It's about this guy that won. The first one was about a guy who was played by Samuel L. Jackson that had this like chemicals that he wanted to spread across the world, and there was a very secret agency in the UK that became aware of it and tried to stop him. It was just like
good.
It was it's a really good movie. And they had like a sequel to it.
Yeah.
But it's a really good movie. So I think I like more of action movies.
Yeah.
But with a good story to it. Sometimes it's just fighting and you're like, okay.
I know what you mean. Like it has to be. That's the funny thing about the Disney movies. They're so good at storytelling.
Yeah.
That even stuff for like your kid who's 6, like Toy Story, whatever. I'll watch that all day long. All adults.
And
love
I think
that
that's probably why. Like, sorry, I'm gushing over Maleficent right now.
That's fine.
But it's just a good story.
Just
like
well
even
done.
the very first one, like they did some years back, was just like I would always watch that movie because it was just a good story. Like it had you thinking, and you know there are movies that you watch that even after the movie's over, you're like thinking, oh, this is why this happened, or maybe this should have happened. Like it just makes your brain kind of work on it a little more, like you're chewing on what you saw.
Well, I mean, that's what fiction is. It's like it tells you like here's a human, and like you get to watch what would they do in this situation. And I think that's what you talk about afterwards. Like, what would I do if I was in it? It makes you think.
Yeah.
So
good stories. Yeah.
But so Bunmi, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? You know, like what do you want to achieve? You know, let's say in 5 years.
That's a good question.
And it could be professionally, personally, you know, like.
So like I said, my family is like number one. So whatever needs to be done on that front. Professionally, I think I like my path in finance. Like, because like Charlie would always say when I was here in Infra, our value is not in like producing financial models. Our value is in driving business decisions. Like it's in being able to say this is what the numbers say, but because of this is what is right for the business, and this is how we can better serve our customers. So I'll probably be in finance for a while. I think just supporting the different like businesses we have and helping. It all goes back to the customer. Like even when we're in infra, all of our models were what's the most cost-effective way to expand our infrastructure, so that at the end of the day we could potentially reduce prices, you know, pass along those savings to our customers. I enjoy what I do. It would just be growing in that space, like having more of a voice, being more intentional about the analysis that I produce to make sure they are truly driving, like truly making a difference in our business, I would say.
What would be something that you'd want to leave people with that, just a general kind of philosophy on the Bunmi approach to life? I mean, we've gotten so many nuggets, but.
I think this is how I would put it. Your old self is what is valued, not a variation of yourself. You know, sometimes we sit with people and we think, oh, they might not like this part of me, or they might think I'm being too emotional because of various reasons, or these are meetings, or this is a meeting with very top leaders. I should just keep quiet and be at the corner. But we are where we are because we have things that we can give, but always bring like your old self to it. Like, if anyone is not accepting of yourself, of who you truly are, like everything that makes you unique and your person, it's their problem, not your problem, you know. So, like, be true to yourself. Bring your old self to whatever it is you're doing every day, to work, to your family, and yeah, let people solve their own problems if they have an issue with like your true self. But do your thing. And I think when we bring our old self, like when I bring everything that is Bunmi to a discussion or to the table or to a conversation, I feel better about it, and the person I'm dealing with also feels better about it, because I've probably left them with something, they probably left me with something, but it's more open, it's more direct, you know. And I'm a Black woman, I'm happy with like everything that's brought me to where I am, but what makes me unique and uniquely talented is me, with everything that comes with that package.
Awesome.
Whether good or bad, yeah.
Oh man,
that's like
that's the best place to end on. I think.
Yeah. You should not ask more.
That was it. But thanks for coming on the show.
Definitely.
And you're gonna be flooded with headcount rec as soon as this thing gets out.
See.
If it's still open.
This is not painful, you know, like.
Yo, what up, everybody? Thanks for tuning into the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe. Feel free to leave a rating, a review, what have you, but most of all, go have a fantastical day, okay? We'll see you soon. Goodbye.